Start. So you have a document right now. So then um, we'll see in the networking. So what you will going to do it, what I'm going to tell. Okay. So this is networking basics. The first one again, what is network? What is a network? Interconnection of two or more devices. What is networking? Communication between interconnected devices. You connect two or more devices, it's called network. To make a communication between these devices means communication is there means networking. And why we need a network? To communicate between the devices is called networking. What is meant by communication? Sharing of information, data, resources between the devices called communication. To communicate between the devices, we need a network. To communicate between the devices, we need a network. What is a communication? Sharing of information, data, resources between the devices. What type of communications? Mail communications, web communications. So you are accessing website, it's a web communication. You are sending, receiving mail, mail communication, sending messages, instant messaging. That is one kind of communication. Okay. You are uploading file, downloading files. Okay. These are also kind of communication. A lot of other communications also there. You're accessing the database services, communication, remote database server, you're accessing from this system. Remote desktop services. Remote system means there is other system, you're accessing from my system. I have a MS TCS, remote desktop system. Just maxing a remote desktop from my system. This is that system. Okay. This is my system. This is remote desktop system. Yeah. It is all their machines, the VM backup servers, web browsers, Docker engines, okay, Power BI, okay. So this is my system. This is my system, or where it is, this is my system. Okay, remote access, remote desktop access. This is also one kind of communication. Next. Guys, I'm not going to discuss this physical topologies. You're going to see that physical topologies. Just check this physical bus topology, ring, mesh, star, and hybrid. So we are using star topologies. We're using star topologies. Okay, what is this? What are the physical topologies? Bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology, star topology, hybrid topology, point to point, point to point, hub and spoke or spine and leaf type of form. I think tree topology, different topologies are there. Very importantly, bus, ring, mesh, star, and hybrid topology. Hybrid means combination of two or more topologies. Which topology we are using? Star topology, which is easy to configure, easy to troubleshoot, and easy to scalable. Okay. Remaining, you study how it is bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology. Already we discussed, that's why I'm not. That's it. You try that. Next one also. Types of network. LAN, CAN, MAN, WAN. Okay. Local area network, campus area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Depends upon the geographical range or a size. These types of networks are there. Local area network, campus area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Another one is PAN and HAN. personal area network, home area network. Okay. You know it. That's why just you go through once what it is. That's it. Okay. I am not explaining it. Intranet and internet. Intranet means local. In my LAN, in my local, my own private network, I have a devices. I'm communicating between my devices in my own private network. So that is called intranet. Internet means it's a public. Intranet is private. Internet means public. It's a networks of network. Internet is a networks of network. You're accessing google.com, facebook.com, youtube.com through the internet only. To connect it to internet, you should connect it through internet service provider. Through internet service provider only, you will get connected. Okay. Just a quick point wise only. And then yeah. Next, how you are connecting. So with the different devices, how you will connect. So that point is also here. The next one is NIC, Network Interface Card. You want to connect any device to the network. The devices need NIC, Network Interface Card. You want to connect wide way, means wide based NIC is required. That related NIC is required. That media related NIC is required. If you want to connect wirelessly, that wireless related NIC is required. Sometimes these NICs you have to attach to your device. Sometimes it is integrated inside your device only. You take a laptop. Laptop contains both Wi-Fi and wide type of NICs are there. You take a desktop, desktop by default, wide type of NIC is there. That is called Ethernet. Okay, wide type of NIC, what we are using is Ethernet. LAN port, LAN card we are using. So in that one, LAN port, the port is LAN port, Ethernet port or RJ45 port it is where we are connecting using UTP, STP cables we are connecting. Either you insert this Ethernet card inside your system or maybe it is integrated directly on your motherboard on desktop and laptops. So Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, three versions are there. Ethernet is 100 Mbps, fast Ethernet is, sorry, Ethernet is 10 Mbps, fast Ethernet is 100 Mbps, gigabit Ethernet is 1000 Mbps. Okay, the port we call it as Ethernet port, LAN port, or RJ45 socket. You have to tell RJ45 socket this one. Wireless NICs. This is also we can connect this type of connectors into your system. So then we can connect it. This is for desktop purpose. This is generally inside your laptop. This is one. This is inside your laptop for wireless connectivity. This is you can use it for desktop and laptop. Simple USB connection. You can connect to the Wi-Fi router. Okay. So generally the Wi-Fi connections, two frequencies we are using right now, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, two connections we are using. 2.4 generally below 50 Mbps data transmission purpose. 5 gigahertz generally we are using for above 5 gigahertz, 50 Mbps internet speed. 2.4 below 50 Mbps connection internet speed. 5 gigahertz above 50 Mbps internet speed. General point wise, because I don't want to spend more time on it. Just you read it, just you can recollect that information. Okay. So wireless NICs in our mobile phone also we have a Wi-Fi adapter which is built inside the motherboard. Okay. You can take a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi also having a Wi-Fi adapter there. So that is integrated inside on the motherboard only. Okay. If not, then we need a attachment. For example, you take a desktop, we can use this one to connect into the desktop and you can connect your desktop wirelessly. This is generally used for laptop purpose. You can also use it for desktop purposes. This is you can use any USB point, you can connect it and you can make it connect through wireless. Scenario also, I think I explained the way we use the USB port, USB wireless adapter. I have a old laptop. The old laptop is frequencies, 2.4 gigahertz connectivity. That time we installed a new internet connection that is Geo. So one is 100 Mbps connection, this 100 Mbps internet speed, and 30 Mbps. Two, both are provided. Okay, so your my laptop is 2.4. I'm connecting to that Wi-Fi router 2.4. I'm getting 30 Mbps speed only. If I able to connect the 5 gigahertz connection to the router, then I can get up to 100 Mbps internet speed. Up to 100 Mbps PS I can connect. So what I have to done? So I purchase a USB adapter which is supporting for 5 gigahertz connection. Okay, the USB adapter, that is Wi-Fi adapter with 5 gigahertz connection, 5 gigahertz support. So I purchased it and set into my laptop USB port. Then I able to connect it to the 5 gigahertz. I got a 100 Mbps internet speed. Simple. Okay, these are NIC, network interface card. Okay, wider wireless device want to connect it to the network, they need that related, the media related NIC. If you are using fiber optical cables, then HBA, host bus adapter we are using to connect wireless devices. Okay, to connect to the network, sorry. HBA for fiber optical based connectivity. Ethernet for UTP, STP cable connectivity. Okay. Whatever the NIC it is, either it is Ethernet, wide type of NIC, Ethernet type of NIC, or generally Wi-Fi based NIC it is. So it contains a unique address called MAC address. Whenever the manufacturer manufacturing this NIC, they put this MAC address inside. This MAC address also called as physical address. Okay, physical address. MAC address is 48-bit in binary format, but actually MAC address is in a hexadecimal format. 12 hexa numbers are there in the MAC address. We can't change the MAC address. We can't assign any MAC address. MAC address already existing on the NIC. Okay, that's the MAC. Guys, understand up to here? NIC, MAC address. That to speak, guys. Otherwise, what is the use of I am telling again? Huh? Are you there or not there? Speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How to check MAC address? The command is get MAC. You can use the command get MAC to get the MAC address of your NICs. I have multiple NICs, that's why it is showing more. One more command that is called ipconfig. ipconfig is used to check IP address, subnet mask, default gateway only. Again, because it's the most repeated question in recent times, ipconfig. What is ipconfig command? Use it to check IP address, subnet mask, default gateway of your NIC. IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, we can able to check it. Okay. So what is this? Is a IPv6 link local IP address. A system self-generated IP address. System self-generated IPv6 address. Link local IPv6 address. Next. ipconfig space /all. So if you type command ipconfig space /all, you're able to see your adapter's physical address, means MAC address, IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, DHCP server address, and DNS address also. So ipconfig space /all. What's the difference? IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, you can able to see in IP config. In IP config all, you can also see extra DHCP server address, DNS server address, your physical address means MAC address, and other information also you can able to see. Okay, so compulsory check IP config all in your system. They may ask you what is your system IP address. One question they asked recently, that is, what is your computer name, host name or a computer name? The command is host name. This is my computer name. This is my computer name. That is my username. This is my computer username. Okay. See, by default, this is username. You want to know it? Net users. Net users. So this is my computer name and these are my users. But it's not showing. These are the local users. Generally, your system, the local username, it will be shows. Here it is mine is a domain user. That's it is not showing. Mine is a domain user. Okay. You can click here. You can click here. You can find your username. And another one is to check your host name. Type in search. Type about your PC. Okay. In about your PC, also you can find your computer name. And also you can able to see what is your CPU, what is your system configuration. My system is Intel i5 processor, 10th generation, 16 GB RAM, okay, 477 GB SSD storage, 128 MB UHD graphics, Windows 11 Pro operating system. What is your system OS? Windows 11 Pro edition. Okay, what is your processor? Intel i5 processor. Okay, it's my system. You have to check your system. Mine is 64-bit processor, 64-bit OS. How will you get to know? Because I went to the about your PC, then I got this information. What is your system model? Latitude 3510. Another way is system information. MS. Here also you can get it. What model? Dell company, Latitude 3510, 64-bit based PC, Intel i5 10th generation, okay, Windows 11 Pro operating system, 16 GB RAM. Okay, so this is my system information. Once again, guys, how to check MAC address? Get MAC, or you can also use ipconfig /r. Want to check IP address? Check with a ipconfig, or you can use ipconfig /all. Okay. And another one is you can also go to the ncpa.cpl, ncpa.cpl. Otherwise, you can go to control panel and open also. This will open directly network connections. Double click on your adapter. Click on the details. You can find your IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, plus physical address, MAC address, DHCP server address, and DNS server address also. Okay, this is how to check IP address and your system configuration also. About your PC, will tell you about your system configuration, your operating system, your processor, okay, your computer model. Like that, you can able to get other information, your RAM capacities. Okay, that is you can able. You can also try system information. System information. From there, also you can able to get what is your computer model, their numbers, and your operating system and other process kind of stuff. You can also find this base board product. This is like a unique number for your system. If you want to enter with your personal computer to your company, you have to specify at security. This is a system you are taking into your office. Okay, that is your computer. Generally, you don't bring your own laptop to your office. Okay, so they will provide a system to you. Okay, guys, understand how to check IP address, IP config space slash all. Second one is ncpa.cpl. Another one is control panel. Okay, compulsory step by step. We have to tell control panel. It's in a category mode. In category mode, network and internet. Then network and sharing center. In a large icon mode, directly network and sharing center. It opens it. Left side, change adapter settings. Then it opens network connection window. There you can find your adapter. Right click, status, details. This is how you will check the IP address. Okay. Guys, understand how to check the IP address and how to check the MAC address. No one is saying anything. Mhm. See, this is our remote system. Intel i5 7th generation processor, 16 GB RAM. Okay. Built-in graphical HD graphics, built-in graphics. It is 128 MB RAM. Okay, it's still 932 GB total disk space. Windows 10 Enterprise Edition, 64-bit operating system, 64-bit processor. Device name is D035. That's a computer name. 16 GB RAM. What is another one? System information. Here also you can get same information almost. So it is not a direct Dell or any other computer. It is a motherboard manufacturer. It is MSI motherboard. 64-bit system, MSI motherboard, Intel processor. Okay, BIOS is AMI BIOS, American Megatrend Inc. BIOS. Windows 10 Enterprise operating system. Okay, 16 GB RAM. Yes. Username not given. How to get a username? Just go like this. This is my username. How to check the computer name? One way I showed it. Here also same thing like host name. This is a D035 is a computer name. Admin 035 is a username. Otherwise, you can also try net users.
Like this also you can try. Admin 035 is the default. Also you can click on your user. From here you can understand. You can also go to control panel. Go to control panel. In that one, go to this large icon mode, user accounts. Here it is, my user. Admin 035. You want to know how many users are there in the system, manage another account. So this is another user account. Two users are there. This is my user, current user. This is another user.
Okay. So check it, guys. Check the system configuration, computer name, system configuration, network configuration, what IP address in your system, both command wise and GUI mode also. Please check your IP address. This is most common question, guys. Simple and easy questions, first of all. Okay.
So what's the difference between IP and MAC address? IP address and MAC address. IP is a logical address, MAC address is a physical address. IP address is can be changeable. We can assign IP address to our device manually. Also, we can get IP address automatically from DHCP server. MAC addresses cannot be changeable. You can't assign a MAC address to our NICs. You can't assign. You won't get it won't get automatically from any server also because it is once it is manufacturing time only, the manufacturer of that NIC assign the MAC address. At the time of this network interface cards are manufacturing, that time only these MAC addresses are assigned. So we can't change it. We can't assign separate. Again, IP addresses are 32-bit IP addresses there. Means IPv4, IPv6, two versions of IP addresses. And that IPv4 is 32-bit, IPv6 is 128-bit. In IP address, two versions. IPv4 version, IPv6 version. IPv4 is 32-bit, IPv6 is 128-bit. Okay, MAC address. We do not have MAC address one or two versions, only MAC address is, it's represent 12 hexa number. MAC address only represented in, it's actually 48-bit in binary format, represents in a 12 hexa number wise. No separate versions are not there. Again, IP address is a logical address, MAC address is a physical address. We cannot, IP address can be changeable. We can assign IP address manually, or IP address can be changed or assigned automatically by the DHCP server or servers. MAC address cannot be changed. We can't change the MAC address, and it is not, we can't assign a MAC address to our NICs. The MAC address are assigned by the manufacturer of that NIC. Okay, this is the difference between IP and MAC. Again, guys, cables, you read it. If you read, if you got any doubt or anything you want explanation, I will tell you. Compulsory twisted pair and fiber optical cables. Both compulsory read once at least. Okay. Then I will go to the IP addresses. Then I will come back to the devices. Then OS. At least I will cover the IP address now. Next tomorrow, we'll going to see the remaining one. Okay. IP address is logical address. IP address is uniquely identified device in a network, in one network to identify the devices. Okay. We use IP address. Without IP address, we can't communicate in the network. Without IP address, we can't communicate in the network. This IP address we can assign manually or it can be assigned automatically. In our home or offices, the IP address to the devices assigned by the DHCP server. And this DHCP server can be your Wi-Fi router, your mobile hotspot, or separate Windows or Linux-based servers provide act as a DHCP server. Okay, your Wi-Fi router generally for your TVs, your mobile phones, your laptops. You are getting a IP address from your Wi-Fi router. Okay, that is act like a DHCP server. The DHCP server assign or configure IP address to the client devices automatically. IP address assigned or configured by manually or automatically. Manually, we can assign it. Automatically also, it can be assigned. Automatically means again DHCP server. We can change the IP address. Both manually we can able to change it. Automatically also IP address can be changeable. Depends upon the configuration. IP address defined logical manner. Every device must have an IP address to communicate in the network. Without IP, we can't communicate. All communications by IP address only. IP address are 64-bit, sorry, IP address are IPv4 version, IPv6 version, two versions of IP addresses. IPv4 is 32-bit, IPv6 is 128-bit. Okay. This is again about a IP address only. Earlier we discussed IP address and MAC address differences. This is what is IP. Again, we'll complete this IP address part. Okay, then we'll, if you have a time, then we'll see that anything. But IPv4, IPv6. Compulsory IPv4, IPv6 differences are important. IP, MAC address difference, IPv4, IPv6 differences are compulsory. You must know it. Okay, you must know it. So here it is IPv4, IPv6 differences. IPv4 is 32-bit, IPv6 is 128-bit. IPv4, total IPv4 addresses are 4.3 billion IP addresses. Total IPv6 addresses from starting 0 to last one. Total IP number of IPv6 address. Total number of IPv6 addresses are 3.4 into 10 to the power of 38. Okay. IPv4 represent decimal format. IPv6 represented in hexadecimal format. IPv4 is divided into four parts. Each part we call it as octet. So you have a four octets are separated by dot. Separated by dot. Each octet ranges between 0 to 255. Means no octet in IPv4. No part is more than 0 to 255. Only. Okay, 0 to 255. Totally four octets. Okay, first octet, second octet, third octet, fourth octet. Each octet is ranging from 0 to 255. The IPv4 ranges, total IPv4 ranges 0.0.0.0 to 255.255.255.255. This is total IPv4 range. Okay. In IPv6, it represents in a hexadecimal format. So totally 32 hexa numbers are in a single IPv6 address. Totally 32 hexa numbers are there, divided into 8 blocks. Divided into 8 blocks. 32 hexa numbers divided into 8 blocks. Right? Means each block contains 4 hexa numbers. Each block separated by colon. Each block separated by colon. Totally 8 blocks are there, separated by colon. Each block contains 4 hexa numbers. 4 hexadecimal numbers are there. Totally 8 blocks are there. Okay. Again, IPv4, this entire range is divided into 5 classes based on the first octet of IP address. Okay. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, Class C. Compulsory go through the ranges. Class A 0 to 127, Class B 128 to 191, Class C 192 to 223, Class D 224 to 239, Class E 240 to 255. This is total classes and their range. Class E, we are not assigned this class E range to any devices. We can't assign because it is still not released by IANA, so we can't use it. Still in the research. Reserved for a future use. Right? Reserved for a future use. Class E. Class E is a multicast used by different protocols for multicasting purpose, sending message to same type of protocol. Class A, Class B, Class C, unicast IP addresses. In this one, 0 network, 127 network, reserved one. We can't assign any IP address in the 0 network and 127 network. This 127.0.0.1 reserved, it's a loopback purpose we are using. Loopback and loopback or localhost IP address is 127.0.0.1 for self-hosting or self-host service accessing purpose, self-testing purpose. So in a class A, we don't use 0 network, 127 network. We use 1 to 126 only. Assign. We assign IP address between 1 to 126, 128 to 191, 192 to 223. Okay. Now how to recognize which class of IP address it is? See the first one, first octet, and check the 134. This 134 is in between this range. It's a class B IP address. 156. 156 also in between this range. It's a class B IP address. 10. 10 is in between this range. Means it's a class A IP address. 194. 194 is a class C IP address. 227 means it is class D IP address. Like we can recognize IP address. Again, I will go back for a IPv6. Okay, yeah. IPv6 not divide entire IP address into classes. Only there is specific ranges are given for specific purposes. For public communication purpose, we call a global unicast IP addresses. Okay. Next one is for private communication. Private range is there. Okay. Local unicast type. Okay. Link local is a system self-generated IP address. Multicast for multicasting purpose. Anycast. IPv4 we use broadcast to send message to everyone, but IPv6 use anycast to send message to everyone if that device, the remote device, enabled with IPv6. In IPv4, we use 0.0.0.0 as a unreserved IP for a specific services purpose. Like certain protocols use this one as a source IP to send things or yellow ordinary all representation. In IPv6, it's represented with a colon. In IPv4, loopback or local host address represented with a 127.0.0.1 for self-testing, self-host action purpose. In IPv6, it's a colon 1. So this is the small difference between IPv4 and IPv6. Main importantly, number of bits 32, 128, 4.3 billion IP address, 3.4 into 10 to the power of 38. represented in decimal format, represented in hexadecimal format. IPv4 having four parts. Each part is called as a octet separated by dot. IPv6 contains 8 blocks. Okay, is divided entire IPv6 is divided into 8 blocks separated by colon. Each block contains four hexadecimal number. Totally 32 hexa numbers we are using in a IPv6. Means 8 blocks. Each block contains four. Okay. In IPv4, the total range is 0.0.0.0 to 255, 255, 255. This is total IPv4 range, which is divided into 5 classes: class A, class B, class C, class B, class C. Class D is for multicasting, and class C, class B, class C are unicasting. Okay. And IPv6, we didn't divide entire IPv6 into classes. We have a specific ranges for a specific type of communication. For public communications, public IP address is required, that is global unicast IP addresses. For private, within the private network communication purpose, private IP. Again, another private within the segment, link local, multicasting purpose, one more range, unicast range is specified. Okay. These are the basic differences, guys. We can also go with the other differences. Again, IPv4. In IPv4, use subnet mask to represent network and host portion. IP address is a logical address. In logical address, we have a network and host portion. Then IP address represent a specific logical name. The devices will communicate each other if they are in the same logical network. Devices won't communicate each other directly if they are not in the same network. Okay. If they are in the same network means their network portion must be same or their network ID must be same. Then only the devices will communicate each other. And host portion is different. In network, IP address, network portion must be same, host portion must be different. To understand by the system, what system will use the subnet mask. System uses subnet mask to differentiate network and host portions of an IP address. For class A, 255.0.0.0 is a default subnet mask. For class B, 255.255.0.0. For class C, 255, 255, 255.0. Okay. So these are the default subnet mask for the class A, class B, class. What it represents in the class A IP address, the very first octet represents network. The remaining are host parts. In class B, first two parts are network, remaining this host portion. Class C, first three parts are network, remaining this host portion. It means if you have a two devices want to communicate each other like this, their network portion must be same. How the system will do it? It will use subnet mask. If you do end operation between IP address and subnet mask, they will get a network ID. If both system network ID is same, they will communicate each other. Okay, they will communicate user. To get that network ID, system use end logic between the IP address and subnet. The subnet mask a representation of network and host person. Subnet mask will tell you what is your network person, what is your host person. In same network, okay, their network ID or network person must be same. If network person is different, you can't able to communicate with each other. Same network person. You take this is class C. Class C, first three portions are network portion. So for all these three systems, five systems, their network portion. These two systems, same network portion, but they are having different network portions.
There are five systems. These three systems, same network portion, so they can able to communicate. But these are different network portion means different network. These three systems, okay, these two are same network. This is different network portion, class A. So then this is we can't communicate to this system from these two systems. Okay, PC1, PC2 cannot communicate it to PC3 because PC3 network portion is different from PC1 and PC. Same thing for these examples. So two systems are unable to communicate each other. What we have to do, check the connectivity, physical connectivity. Second one is IP address. Make sure that IP address between the devices has to be in the same network, in the same segmented network. Means logically, physically, both devices are in the same network. Logically, physically. If both devices are in the same network means their network portion must be same, host portion must be different. Yes. Not entire host portion, at least one of the host portion is different is okay. To represent the network subnet mask. What is subnet mask? System use subnet mask to divide network and host portion. Subnet mask will tell you what is your network portion. Both system are having same network portion, they will be able to communicate each other in the same segmented network, means physically, logically same network. Okay. If physically, logically not in the same network, then router will do between the different router, make a communication between different networks. Means physically, logically different networks. Okay. So we need a router to make them communicate. Like you are accessing Google.com. Google.com different type. Our system different type. Not in the same physically, logically, not same network. So whatever it is, the router will do the make the communication between. But direct communication between system to system in the same physical logical network, they must to provide. Yeah. This is called a slash notation, guys. Slash notation, prefix or CIDR method, which represent a subnet mask in the simple slash notation part. Okay. So you can give your subnet mask like this, or you can specify your subnet mask like this also. This is your IPv6. Same thing I written most of them. Okay. Yeah. That's about your subnet. The next is private IP address, private and public communication. Yes, to communicate within the private. So there is a certain specific private IP address ranges are there, either IPv4 or IPv6. Private IP address ranges for private purpose communication. For public communication, you need a public IP. With the private IP, you can't communicate it to public network. Okay. But to communicate within the private, no need to purchase any IP address. You can use any private IP address. But to communicate in the public, you need a public IP address. In IPv4, no specific public address ranges are specified. Private is specified. Meaning is other than the private, other than the IP address which we are not using, means other than this private IP address ranges, plus APIPA range, plus this reserved IP addresses, except these things. All remaining are a public IP only from class A, class B, class. Okay. Public means you are accessing google.com, facebook.com, youtube.com, that's available in public. So you are accessing that one through internet. Private means in your system, in your home, your laptop, your desktop, your mobile phone, your smart TV. This is your private. In our office, I have a laptop, there is another desktop, there is another laptop. Like we are communicating. There is a server. We are all in the same private. We are communicating with each other in the private. Three facts, accessing google.com, facebook.com, YouTube, Udemy. Okay, all these are all, we need a public key. So these are the certain, sorry, these are the public private IP v4 addresses ranges. From class A 10 series 10.0.0.0, this entire network is private IP network. From class B, 16 networks are there. 170.16, 170.17, 170.18, 170.19, like up to 170.31. These are all private IP network. Okay. Or you can say like 120, 170.16.0.0 to 170.31.255.255. This is entirely not same network. The total 16 networks are there. But this entire range is private IP range. You can use, you can assign any network to the any IP any system in the private. Here class C 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.250. This is total range belongs to private. So totally 256 networks. 192.168.0 network, 192.168.1 network, 192.160.2 network, like that up to 250. Non-routable in public. If you are assigned these IP addresses to your device, you can't connect it to internet. You can't directly communicate through public network. That's you can't access internet with a private IP address. Then what is my IP? How to check IP config? So mine is 170.16. Means for my system also it's private IP. But how am I able to access internet? Because of NAT and PAT technique. Network address translation, port address translation. Okay, when you want to communicate from your private network to public network, in the router they configured a mapping your private to some other public IP address. So that public IP address you have to pay and use. Okay, you have to pay, you have to use it. That's a public IP address. So you want 10 connections, 10 public IP addresses, you have to purchase it. And one to one, one private to and one per public, you have to map it. Usually, if you are having a public accessing related, like in your organization, you have a servers, public accessing servers, public connecting related devices are there. Means through from internet, you are accessing it. From internet, you are accessing it means you have to configure NAT. But in our generally our day to day, we are accessing public things. We are not accessed by public. We are accessing public, like you are accessing Google, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, you are accessing means you don't require any specific public IP. Then we use generally in our home or offices we use PATIC, port address translation, also called as NAT overload. Multiple public private IP address overloading on the single public IP with a port map technique. The port map technique. That is PATIC. Okay. Yeah. The last one, guys, how to check IP address, how to configure IP address. Already I told we know this one, but again, ncpa.cpl. So open the adapter, how to configure IP address. Go to ncpa.cpl, network connection, go to your adapter, right click, status, details. You can see your IP address configuration. This is how to check IP address. DHCP enable yes means this IP configured automatically by DHCP server. Who is DHCP server? This is my DHCP server. Then go to the properties. In the properties, we are configuring IPv4. So select IPv4, click properties again.
obtained IP address automatically obtain DNS server address automatically. Means you are configuring your adapter saying that get IP address automatically from the DHCP server. This setting is for getting an IP address from DHCP. In case you want to configure IP address manually, if you want to configure your IP address manually. Oops, yeah, we'll take this one. Okay. So in IPv4 properties, obtained IP address automatically means you want to get IP address from DHCP server. In our home, who is our DHCP server? Our router is a Wi-Fi router is a DHCP server. I want to configure manual IP to it. Some IP address I'm configuring. Just only IP address subnet mask. If I'm connected to default gateway, then I have to configure my default gateway also in case if it is there. Okay. If I have some primary DM server, and this is a Google, even why we should add this 8.8.8.8. Generally, most of the people with or without knowing, they're adding an alternative DNS service as a 8.8.8. Why we should add it? The reason is, guys, sometimes your local DNS server unable to resolve certain website named to IP address. Like you open google.com, but is unable to get google.com IP address. Your local DNS server unable to get google.com IP address. Then use alternative. This is a Google servers. 8.8.8 is a Google server DNS server address. So it will try to fetch it from the default DNS servers. DNS server unable to fetch IP address of something like a google.com or facebook.com. The second alternative will try to get you. So I configure and now check it. DHCP enable no means this IP address configured manually. And also you can also see there is no DHCP server address. Okay. This is manual configuration. Manual means use following IP address. Okay. Automatic means use. Automatic means first option, obtained IP address automatically. Manual means use following IP address. You have to tell the steps in case if they ask. Okay. What is APIPA? Just you read it, guys. What is APIPA? Already I written here. APIPA means in case if you are unable to get any IP, either I should configure manually IP address, either I should configure manually like this, or system should get IP address automatically from the DHCP server. I said obtained IP address automatically. So this to get an IP address to this adapter automatically if a DHCP server is connected to this one. Check it. Yes, DHCP enable yes, but it is not showing proper IP. Sorry, sorry. Okay, DHCP enabled yes, but it is showing 169.254 auto configuration, not as a regular IP address. If you got a proper IP address, it will show yes, a proper IP, DHCP server address, like, but it is not showing like that. It is showing 169.254. Meaning is you are not able to get IP address from a DHCP server. maybe this adapter is not connected to any DHCP server. That's why it is not getting. Okay. If the adapter not able to get IP address from the DHCP server, it's failed to get IP address from DHCP server. Our system itself configure an IP address from API range. So when you check the IP address, if it is showing like this, 169.254, it means your system unable to get IP address from DHCP. Check DHCP server is connected or not. DHCP server is connected or not, running or not. Okay, service is running or not. Number of IP addresses are available or not, verified. At your system side, disable and enable the adapter. You can see disable. Click on the disable, enable the adapter, or go to command prompt, type ipconfig release and then this is a very important command, guys. Ipconfig release to remove the dynamically configured means automatically configured IP address from your adapters. Renew means try to get a new IP address from DHCP server. Renew means getting IP from DHCP. Release means remove configured IP address from the adapter. Automatically configured only, not static one. Okay. So these are the some of the important points, guys. Tomorrow we'll continue what is this protocol and OSA model because that is also important. Another important question is TCP UDP differences. TCP UDP differences. Okay. And some of the networking commands also. You guys also please go through this document. I will also share, I will going to share that PDF. I downloaded this PDF twice. I will share it. Please go through today. And also I showed some commands. Please see that commands and open and check your IP addresses, how to check IP address and all. Also check your MAC address also do it. Okay. Do some ping exercises also. Please start doing. So tomorrow, what are any doubts you are having, I will explain it. Otherwise, we will continue the remaining. Okay. Check it. You are okay with this kind of also. Please discuss with your friends and come back to me. Any changes you need it, any fast track you need it, any direct questions you need it, I can able to help. Okay. That's it for today. Guys are okay? Can you do it? Check it. Check the previous batch questions also. Understand it. If you need any questions for that questions, any answers, I will explain it to you. No problem. But this is not a one like a 3 4 weeks of session. It is 3 4 days of session. So compulsory, you should act fast. Okay, you have to speak. This is yours, not mine. Okay, so just an obligation of taking it.